Would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get this sword. Spoon's coming. I talked to him. Oh, actually, now that I think of it, it's been a few hours since I talked to him. But I talked to him, and he said he was coming. So I think Spoon is going to be here. But now that I'm thinking about it, that was probably about 4 hours ago. So hopefully he's coming. Oh, shit. I forgot to send the invite to Scientist. He's not on the normal email chain. So hold on. Is there a link he just sent me? Yes, there is. Right here.
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah,
welcome.
What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday morning. Hope you all had a nice Friday. As a whole, my day was not great, but I got to say, salvage some of it. You know, I actually would have went 6-6 on the day if Clemson covered that plus 11.5. Oh. The end of that game was infuriating. Yeah. So, yeah, I went 5-7 when Clemson lost that because I just got Houston. So 5-7, lost about 2.5 units. Not a great day, but also not a complete terrible day either. I saw you started off. Did you end up with a good day? I saw you were having a good afternoon.
It was a tale of two halves. I went 4-4, just lost a little bit of vig in college basketball. The Clemson one would have put me plus units as well. I think I lost like 0.3 units or something like that. Nothing crazy. And then I won both of my World Baseball Classic bets, which was awesome. So,
dude, you. Yeah, I tailed that Dominican over a 3-run home run to give it to us. That was awesome. I was going nuts.
Yeah, I tailed that over. That was sick.
Yep.
You guys are gonna also like. I got some people that didn't get paid, or I'm sorry, that didn't like. I gave out 9.5, guys. Like I wouldn't have bet 10.5.
It was 100% 9.5 on this show last night, and there were a few 9.5s. It wasn't the only one. It was all 9.5.
I got in an argument with somebody because they said that because I said, well, I know my buddy got 105, and they're like, that wasn't available. And I said, yes, it was. We do the show live. We literally watched it happen.
I took it live on the show, and I have the slip, and it's also linked to Juice.
I said I was pissed off that he got a better number on it because it was my bet, but I never. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I can assure you, I got minus 105. So, yeah, me and Toast both. I had slightly below. It looks like Toast had a break-even day. Scientist, how was your day?
I think honestly, I didn't calculate what I did today. I think I pretty much broke even. I started the day 2-2. Of course, we just lost Clemson right there on some absolute. I honestly, I was listening to the announcers talk about the game, and they were like, the coach is telling them, play it out. I'm like, why are you not dribbling the ball out with 30 seconds left up 10? You have to know that the line's like 11.5 or something. And then, I mean, the tip in was crazy.
Yeah, so. And then the tip in, but
I did bet the Kansas team total under, which was sweat free.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was an easy one. Spoon, I know you didn't have a good day because you were texting me about it.
Yeah, started 0-6, finished with 1 win, so that always helps. Still not the worst day of the year, but definitely doesn't feel great.
No, it sucks. Yeah. All right. So this is a great Saturday. We got 15 games to talk about, some conference championships, some conference semifinals. Guys, at this point, these numbers are going to be pretty sharp. So there's some gambling involved here. So just my advice would be, don't go into this day thinking you're going to get on a bunch of huge edges and come out. Let's pick the sides we want to root for, play some bets, and have some fun. Because the idea that we're going to beat these numbers at the conference champ, it's maybe a little bit of fantasy land. But let's go ahead and start in the Ivy League semifinals. No one selected this game or anything. I added it because it's a semifinals. 11 a.m. Eastern time is the start. Any of you gentlemen have interest in Cornell Yale? The number is currently 3.5. There's some 4s as well. I know, Spoon, you had bet some Ivy League earlier in the year. I don't think you've bet any Ivy League recently, though, have you?
Ivy League tournament's always pretty interesting. This should be a true home game for Cornell in this situation. Should be a little bit of a. I can't get behind Cornell at this 3.5 number. I like Yale here. One possession's probably the end of it, like for me to actually play it, I'd have to have Yale -1.5 in my pocket. Maybe -2 I'd be interested in, but at 3.5, I think Cornell can hang around in this game. These two teams met twice this season. The first matchup, 102-68 in favor of Yale. The second game, Cornell pulled out. Cornell can play with a ton of pace, but if they don't show up and make their shots, that pace turns into a detriment and can turn into an ugly game like that first one. Too wide of a variance for me.
Jacob, I think your mic is echoing a little bit when other people talk. So when you're not talking, just hit the mute button and then unmute. But scientist, do you agree that it's Yale at 3.5? I can't really contribute here. I haven't watched much Ivy League.
I'm with Spoon, to be honest. I mean, Yale absolutely blew them out in the first game of the year, and then Cornell played them second game of the year. That was at home for Cornell. And I think at that point, Yale didn't really have much to play for. If I remember, they kind of had the conference locked up at that point. So, and Cornell needed that game, so they took that one. But I think Yale's far superior than Cornell. I would lay the 3.5, but I'm not betting it.
Yeah, I don't have much interest. Toast, I don't know if you've bet much Ivy League this year, have you?
No, not much. Feels a little bit short with Yale, but yeah, it would only be Yale for me.
All right, let's move on. We got some bangers. I promise not all the games are Yale Cornell. We got some real good ones coming up. Next up, Spoon. Couldn't help but notice Vermont catching points in the Vermont Invitational. So do you consider that to be a personal insult to the Catamounts? And how do you feel emotionally about that number?
Well, I mean, they're on the road for a championship game. Like, it's a true road game. So I would expect them to be dogs in this situation. I have the future for this game. I'm sitting on 2 units. If Vermont wins the game, I don't really feel the need to get involved with this number. At a possession or more, I definitely lean Vermont here. I think this game probably comes down to the last possession for both these teams. UMBC's got a good roster. They've blown out the last couple of America East teams they played, but they went 1-1 with Vermont this season. One of the times they matched up, the time they beat Vermont was playing with a lot more injuries than they have right now. I think this is going to be a great game. You always have to go through Vermont to get to the America East Championship and to go to the NCAA tournament. Should be a great game. I still lean Vermont for this. If I didn't have that ticket, I would be on the +3, +3.5 that are out there.
So look at this comment. UMBC by double digits, easy home win for them. The comment comes from Zero Edge Sports. I like that name. I like Zero Edge Sports. Well,
just one last thing. 2018, when UMBC last beat Vermont to get into the tournament, they had to go through Vermont in Burlington. Now Vermont gets their payback. UMBC's having one of their best seasons. That year, Vermont had an NBA player. I think this is a nice spot for Vermont to finally get payback for once in this conference, because everybody else is always trying to get it versus them.
Spoon, as much as I respect your opinion, I got to say, this guy Zero Edge Sports, he seems to get me. I'm putting up UMBC.
Al texts me every day before he places a bet. The last thing he does is just, does he have the right feeling in his balls or not? And if he doesn't, he just throws
is that
the bet
guy?
in the trash.
Is that the same guy?
Don't know.
Oh yeah, that was a funny comment. All right, scientist. I don't know how much Vermont basketball you bet on this year, but any thoughts on the number?
Well, Spoon just reminded me that this is kind of a home game for UMBC, and I live like 20 minutes away from UMBC, so I might go to this game. I took Vermont with a 3.5, and I also took the money line at +130. I mean, yeah, UMBC's won 11 straight games. The last loss was to Vermont, and one of the wins in that 11-game span was also against Vermont. But like Spoon mentioned, they were much more injured at that time of the year, and now that they're healthy, I mean, they have been playing extremely well. They just beat NJIT in the conference tournament, who have been playing well by 9. They beat Bryant by 20. And I mean, the thing about this conference is it's full of teams that are just bottom 320 in KenPom. So like the only relatively good team that UMBC's played in the last multiple weeks has been Vermont. It's pretty much Vermont and UMBC in this conference. And I think catching over a possession with who was honestly the preseason favorite to win this conference is crazy. UMBC's played amazing, but obviously Vermont healthy now. I would take the points with Vermont, and of course I'm taking the money line with such a short spread.
Toast, do you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to be betting UMBC. I just don't know what the number is. It seems like it came down a little bit.
There's 2.5.
Yeah, there's 2.5s up there. So I just want to watch it. But this team's absolutely on fire right now, and they're catching Vermont. I mean, yes, I know that Vermont is one of the better teams in this conference historically, but UMBC is the best offense and the best defense in this conference, and I don't think there's like a really argument about that. And they're catching them at home. Yeah, I would lay it with the UMBC.
Yeah, plus Zero Edge Sports really likes it.
I was already looking that way, but that pushed me completely over.
To hear Zero Edge Sports likes Maryland, Baltimore County, yeah, that really pushes me over the edge. That changes my fare from 3 to 3.5. All right, let's move on to the next. Dayton, St. Louis. Shout out St. Louis and shout out John Bender. I tailed him on his second half, and today was the day where I needed some help. So getting that extra win really saved us from what could have been a really bad day. Dayton, St. Louis. St. Louis laying 6. Jacob, you want to start us off here?
I personally lean Dayton catching the points. Dayton already played St. Louis this year. It was actually one of the most recent games, and Dayton smoked them by 15 points. Dayton, they're playing pretty good. I mean, we don't forget, St. Louis won today by 7 points. I'm pretty sure they were down by like 20 at halftime. I mean, I'm sorry to Trevor and everybody that had a 6.5 with George Washington. That's got to be the hardest thing to watch. I probably would have been. I mean, thank God it was like a day game or something, and some people be at work to not watch that absolute shit show happen if you were holding a George Washington ticket. But I mean, 6.5 points with, again, it's like St. Louis is very, very good, but they've obviously shown that they can play with their food. So, I mean, I think Dayton's a better team than George Washington, and if they were able to take them down to 7 points, and honestly, they kind of gave that game away. I think Dayton won't do that here, and I think I would lean toward the 6.5 points.
Toast, I kind of disagree. I can get a -5.5, -105 right now with St. Louis. That's kind of where I was going.
Yeah, I completely agree with St. Louis. I think that, first of all, they got their little bit of a scare out of the way. That's part. But I also think that we're getting a little bit of a discount with them because they've been absolute animals all year, but they have lost some games coming down the stretch over the last couple of weeks. But for me, it's just I don't think this Dayton team is very good. I know that they turned it on at the beginning of or at the end of the year, beating this St. Louis team, but I think this is where St. Louis kind of gets their lick back personally. I haven't bet it yet, but I think that St. Louis, especially after having a game on this floor, can really tattoo this Dayton defense. That's like mediocre at best, and if that's the case, Dayton can't score to save their life. So I just don't think that St. Louis can personally keep up with Dayton. I'm sorry, the other way around. Dayton can keep up with St. Louis.
I don't hate that -5.5, -105, especially when Circa and Pinnacle open up at 6. I might place this bet. Comic came in saying sports scientist Jacob looks like Robert Pattinson. Isn't that the Twilight guy?
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
I read I appreciate all the comments I got on the first time I was on. I looked like, so now Robert Pattinson. I got one that said I looked like Bo Nix. Like, can we pull up a side-by-side comparison of me and Bo Nix? Like,
oh, I like the Bo Nix one. That's a good one.
Bo Nix isn't bad.
I took a -112 6.5 with Dayton. So
all right, so I think I'm gonna. I kind of think I'm gonna be on the other side of this one, scientist. What about Spoon?
The last time these two teams met in Dayton, which noted pretty decent home court atmosphere, this line opened 5.5. So you have St. Louis now on a neutral. I feel like this line's a little discounted. Depending where you look, that line closed 3.5, 4.5. So I think there's some discount here just baked into the Dayton's recent success. But I mean, we've seen it with so many teams here today. Like that recent success demanded a change in the number. So maybe Dayton shows up and plays good ball here tomorrow. I would lean St. Louis here. I think this number should be closer to 6.5, 7.5. Just based on the full body of work for the season, I feel like this is just too much built into Dayton's recent success here. I don't have a bet in this game.
I think it's going to close 6.5, and I think -5.5, -105 is going to be a good ticket to hold. So I am placing it. I'm sorry, hold the show
You
up.
just bet St. Louis second half.
I just bet St. Louis second half. I was tailing Bender in the.
No, I'm saying, can you just do that for tomorrow? That's like the third time
know.
I've seen them do that same exact thing.
Yeah.
Bender, you pre-bet the second half spread before the game even starts.
Yeah, some books offer that.
I know.
We lost Toast for a second, but he's still here, so I'll bring him back on. All right, I just took the -5.5, -105, which I think is going to be a nice ticket to hold, but we'll see. All right, next up. Wisconsin, Michigan. So, as I'm sure all of you did as well, watch the Wisconsin game. That kid, Boyd, is excellent down the stretch. He was unstoppable. I tried to get cute with Illinois, -7.5. Thought it was a good bet. Looked like a good bet for what was about 25, 30 minutes. But I don't know how you lay a big number to this team. And they made the number even bigger than the Illinois number. So I don't know how you lay 12.5 here. I'm not saying let's bet Wisconsin, but I can tell you 100% would not be on Michigan. Oh, wait, Spoon, do you have any thoughts on the Michigan game? I believe you said you wanted to talk about it.
I got sucked into betting that Michigan game yesterday. Out of all the games that I walked into there to bet, that was one of the ones I actually regret. Everything else closed pretty well. That Michigan game was, I don't know. I didn't need to pull the trigger on that. Wisconsin versus Illinois, that Illinois line closed really well. I felt like Illinois didn't really get the best end of the 40 minutes on the court from their players or from the whistle, but that happens in basketball games. I think it's a really big number to be laying to Wisconsin. I feel like Michigan was going to do that versus Ohio State or Wisconsin. It would be much easier done versus Ohio State. And I don't feel like there's any discount baked into this number, 12.5 with Michigan. I guess if I was going to play this, it would probably be Wisconsin here. Blackwell, the very talented team to be catching this many possessions.
Yeah, Toast, do you agree with that? What is this 12.5? And it's not just like a couple soft books. Circa's 12.5. Pinnacle's 12.5. The market seems comfortable at 12.5 right now, which has me thinking, what the hell? Because especially based on what we saw today, Ohio State was every bit competitive with Michigan. Wisconsin was competitive with Illinois. They won outright. How do you make this 12.5? What am I missing? Did someone get hurt?
I would argue that Ohio State is a lot better defensively, especially when they're healthy, than Wisconsin. That's part of it. I would go right back to the over. The over was easy in the Wisconsin game, the Illinois game, and Ohio State was easy in that Michigan game. But I do think that it's really hard to. I think it's really easy to fall in love with Wisconsin and the points, and obviously they came through today. But the fact of the matter is that they're essentially giving up 80 points a night, give or take. And I mean, and against this Michigan team, I just have a hard time believing they're going to slow them down. But I agree with you that I do think that Wisconsin can score, because I've talked about it over and over and over on this show that Wisconsin, on a neutral or away, they've been absolutely lights out this year from three. So I have no reason to believe that they're not going to continue to shoot well. It would only be over for me. I haven't bet this yet. I haven't looked on it. I haven't seen the line movement or anything. But if I can get under 160 or just at that 160 number, I'd probably pull the trigger.
So, all right, Jacob, you know how we feel. Do you think there's any chance this touches 13, or would you agree that this is a bit too high?
I think it's a bit too high. I mean, I would say I don't get the line, but clearly the line is priced for a reason. I mean, Wisconsin's played excellent 5 games straight now. They smoked Washington, obviously smoked Maryland. They beat Purdue. We're seeing Purdue right now turn it on. They beat Illinois today. Obviously, you don't like them coming off an overtime game, having to play Michigan right the next day. So, I mean, that's part of it. They already played Michigan this year in Michigan, and they only lost by 3 points. Like Toast said, it's really just their offense that's carrying them. This team's putting up 80-plus points in pretty much every single game, even in the 90s at points. And I mean, we bet Ohio State today against Michigan. Ohio State was winning the game at one point. Like, I don't know. I lean Wisconsin very heavy. Like, I do kind of think the 12.5 is a little high.
Yeah, I suppose definitely coming off an overtime game the very next day is a good point. Michigan's coming off a game themselves where they had to play 40 minutes, though. They didn't really have time to let off the gas in that one. So I'm not sure how much of an edge or how much we would move it there. Maybe a half point max. Yeah, I think it's too high, but as of right now, I don't have a bet in this game. So, yeah, I only Wisconsin. I don't hate Toast over, but I'll lean towards Wisconsin. Let's see if I can't find anything else I like, maybe I add Wisconsin.
We could just ask TV Jones. I'm sure he'll talk us into Wisconsin.
Is he in the comments? Oh, yes, he is in the comments. We won in Michigan. Oh, yeah. Oh, what Jacob said, they lost by 3 points. They won by 3 points in Michigan.
They won by 3 points. So Trevor's saying we should rip the first half money line tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know how, unless there's something I'm missing. 12.5 definitely feels a bit high. Vanderbilt, Florida. So Florida did not come through, and there was a couple people in the group on Florida. I was not one of them. On this show, I know TV Jones had Florida. I think Spoon and Toast had the Kentucky plus 10.5, though, if I remember correct. Toast, did you actually bet Kentucky?
No, coward.
So 7.5 now. There were 6.5s, no longer. It's actually looking like there's 8s now. So early movement definitely towards Florida. Do you agree with that movement, Toast?
Not really. I think that Vanderbilt could probably stay in this game. I do think that I love Florida, but I do love the fact that Vanderbilt is going to be able to keep up with them offensively. And defensively, I don't really know what to expect from Vanderbilt. Obviously, they grade out very well because they can force a lot of turnovers, but I just don't know what they can do as far as size-wise, and that's what really bothers me, because Vanderbilt does have some big guys on their team, but Florida is one of the biggest teams in the country, and that's what I worry about. When this line dropped earlier today, you could have got Vanderbilt plus 8.5, minus 110 on DraftKings. I know Jordan in the group took it. I was staring at it in the face, but as much as I love Florida, it would only be Vanderbilt for me. I do think this is one too many, and I know that Duke Miles missed a lot of games and stuff, and now he's like 7 or 8 games back, and they've looked pretty good. They lost a bad one to Kentucky and Tennessee, but they've revenged that Tennessee loss twice now. I don't know. I just feel like Vanderbilt's Florida's probably not playing for their food, but some say that they don't have a number 1 seed locked up. I think they do. I don't think it really matters, but regardless, it would only be Vanderbilt for me. I do think this is a touch high, but I wouldn't play it at 7. I would want that. Let it get back up to that 8.5 number that I once saw.
Here's the thing. I watched the entire Tennessee Vanderbilt game, and Tennessee should have utilized their size advantage. I hated the basketball game they played. They stayed on the perimeter, took a lot of outside shots. That one guy they got, that forward they got, could not get anything to fall. Forget his name. Is a tall forward. Can't forget the kid on Tennessee's name, like their best player. What's his name?
Nate
Amon. Yep, him. Couldn't get anything to fall. And I just hated the basketball game they played. I feel like they didn't utilize their size advantage at all, and they actually got out-hustled to rebounds. They missed out on offensive rebounds that I thought they should have had. So what Vanderbilt didn't do, I think Florida is every bit equipped to do, which is just bully this small-ass team. I wish I got a 6.5 because I think it's Florida. I think the fair would be 8.5. So I suppose theoretically, if I believe 8.5 is the correct number, I should bet it at 7.5. But the fact that I didn't get 6.5 has me a little hesitant. Spoon, what do you think? Where would you put this number?
The first time these two teams met, Vanderbilt opened up favorites. They closed short dogs to Florida, but I mean, if we look at these rosters, they're virtually the same on both sides of the court. Quite a large move from an opening of Vanderbilt being a short favorite, granted at home. I lean Vanderbilt here. Don't agree with the early move. Yes, Florida is the better of these two teams, but I mean, we saw it in this first matchup. There's a realm where Vanderbilt wins this game outright. It on their best day scoring, Vanderbilt has a higher ceiling than what Florida does offensively, and defensively, Florida definitely has the edge there. But I see a world where Vanderbilt makes this a very close game. I don't have a bet in this game. Watching the market move up kind of tells me I'm wrong, but I would have thought with that initial opener that we would have seen something less than 2 possessions. So this is a very strong line at over 2 possessions and moving up. So market doesn't agree with me.
I think the market is seeing the size advantage, the dramatic size advantage. Jacob, back me up.
When I saw the game open, I saw the 6.5 minus 110, and I just didn't really see any edge. I was like, if it comes down from below 6.5, I wanted to take Florida, but the higher it climbs, I lean toward Vanderbilt. Kind of like Spoon said, I feel like it has backdoor cover written all over it. Like Vanderbilt seems like they're a pretty good team. I wouldn't expect them to get blown out by double digits in this game, and this line's nearly approaching double digits. We already saw Vanderbilt able to stay in the game with Florida, and like Spoon said, these rosters are pretty similar at this point. Florida's obviously, I have a ticket on them to win the national championship. Like I do think they're pretty much one of the best teams in the country, but I just think 8.5 points to another extremely good team is getting up there. So I mean, credit to the people that got 8.5 minus 1. I feel like it'll probably just bounce back and forth between 6.5 or 8.5. 7.5 is probably the right number.
If I get a 6.5 at any time, I'll move on Florida. In fact, I'm not completely opposed to playing a flat 7. I disagree.
It's a lot of respect to Florida. It's a lot of respect.
And a lack of respect to Vanderbilt. I was not impressed. Tennessee lost that game today. Vanderbilt didn't win.
I mean, you could argue that Vanderbilt's had one bad game since middle of January.
Toast, you are usually the leader of the Vanderbilt Sucks parade. You're like holding the baton.
They do suck, but I still have to be objective and realize that they're a 1-point loss to Oklahoma, a 1-point loss to Missouri, a 4-point loss to Tennessee, and they got killed by Kentucky. This team is playing well, and with Duke Miles back and healthy, I mean, I don't think they're as bad as they once were. And Spoon mentioned it. This line, I mean, they were short favorites at home earlier. It's a lot of respect to Florida. I feel like we're missing something. I just don't know what it is.
You're missing the fact that Florida is
You're right.
a bunch of monsters against a very small team. That's what you're missing.
I know.
And when they played, it was back on January 17th. Florida wasn't really getting priced like that. Like Florida started
that's a good point, because like we talked about, or I talked about back then, is that I thought the Florida shooting would continue, and each month it's gotten continuously better, and now they're shooting at like 30-some% as a team over the last couple of months. It's been absolutely so. If Florida's hitting their shots, they'll win by double digits.
Yeah. Florida will cover. Give me a 6.5 and I'm in. Spoon, let's talk some more Ivy. Penn Harvard semifinals. It looks like Harvard is laying 2. It's mostly 2.5. Circa and Pinnacle are at 3, but all the Recs are at 2.5. What are your thoughts on that?
Kind of go back and forth with this game. I think Harvard has the better roster, and I feel like Penn has the better coach with Fran McCaffrey. This team in the second half of the season has played amazing basketball. 1 loss to Yale on the road. Outside of that, 7 straight wins. So I think this game versus Harvard is lined pretty accurately. On the 28th of February, Harvard-Penn met up. It was a 3-point game at home for Penn. I think this one comes down to the last possession too. So whichever team you're going to give me as the dog, I'm going to have to take. I think it generally also is nice to have the more experienced coach on your side in these kind of games. Harvard's coach, Tommy Maker, has been here for a very long time. Nothing new here, but I just have more respect for Fran McCaffrey at this point in his career and everything he's done between his long tenure there at Iowa. I think this is a Penn spot, but I'm not going to be on it.
Based on the Harvard pace, 136 feels a bit high. These two teams played just recently with only 125 points. Harvard, according to this, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm watching a ton of Harvard games, but about as slow as it gets. 62.7 possessions per game on the year. That's in the 3rd percentile. And if you look at now, obviously Penn's pace offsets that, but these two teams just played a really slow pace game. But I don't know anything. Jacob, you follow these teams at all?
Yeah, fun fact. I think a lot of people might know this in the comments. I went to Georgia Tech for grad school. UPenn was my other option. I grew up an hour outside of Philly, so I've always loved UPenn.
That's right. UPenn
I
rejected.
go there. We're one of my customers for work, so I go there very often too. It's a cool campus in Philly. I think an important thing to note for this game is Penn's best player is going to be out for this game, and the remainder, if they were to win this game, be out for the remainder of the tournament. Ethan Roberts, he averages 17 points per game, 4 rebounds. He dropped 24 points the last time.
Oh, he's the leading scorer.
Yeah, he had 21 points in the game against Harvard, where they only won by 3 points, 64-61, an uncharacteristic score for a Penn Harvard game. I mean, that's like 2/3 of Penn's points, or 1/3 of Penn's points right there coming from him. He's going to be out because he got a concussion earlier in the year when they played Villanova. And now the symptoms of that are keeping him out for this game. So I bet Harvard -2.5, -110. I mean, they lost that game to Penn, but look at how they've played since January 3rd. I mean, since January 10th, really. They beat Cornell February 21st by 19 points. They went to an overtime game against Yale, who's the best team in the conference. They just beat Columbia by 10. They beat Dartmouth by 13. They beat Brown by 10. Like, this team's been playing super well down the stretch, and now you're going to get Penn in a revenge spot without their best player that just scored 21 on you. So I think the 2.5 should be a 3.5. So I took the 2.5 -110.
I might be down. That was compelling. I might be down to tail this. I also like how there's a 2.5 -110, but Circa and Pinnacle have it at 3. Always like to see something like that. Is any of this spiteful because Penn rejected you, though?
No, I got into Penn. I just chose not to go there.
No, I know. I said that joking once.
Sure. Out of spite. Well, Kyle, actually, wait. We have to bet against the city of Philadelphia. They don't do anything good for us.
And I get the fade Philly.
Why is this line only 3 if Ethan Roberts is out? Like, Harvard's shown the ability to beat Yale not once but twice this season. The second game slipped away right at the end. But, I mean, Yale's the best team in the Ivy. I think any coach in America would admit that. I think the biggest threat in this conference to them is Harvard. Penn missing their best player. Why is it still a possession? Something's odd about that.
Isn't Yale the best team in the Ivy League?
That's what he said.
Yeah, and Harvard showed the ability to beat them twice.
I think you said Penn.
Well,
I mean, what was the long?
If anybody's going to be over a possession, especially when you're taking out the leading scorer from a team, I'm seeing that concussion symptoms from December are now popping back up. That's super wild, especially when he's played the last dozen games. But I don't know. So this line seems really weird. I would agree with Harvard without Ethan Roberts in here, but it seems like that number should be closer to 5.
It is a neutral. What was the line in
It
Penn?
was -1. This kid isn't that good to move the number 5 points, guys. I'm telling you that right now.
Wait,
regardless.
Hold on. What am I missing here? So Harvard was laying 3.5? No. Harvard was
1. Penn was -1.
No, Harvard was -1. What was the line? I'm looking at the wrong thing.
The line closed Harvard basically like a pick. I'm looking at it closed like +102 Harvard, -105 Penn when they played at Penn.
So yeah, I think the line makes sense then at 2.5.
And I think Harvard's playing better than Penn at this point in the season.
Sounds like Toast likes Penn.
I have no interest in betting it, but I'm just telling you guys, there's no kid in college basketball worth 4 points.
I'm tailing.
It's the next. I mean, for Penn, right? It's the next nerd up. So
yeah, his name's TJ Power, and he shoots 45% from deep.
Yeah, I mean, that kid.
Oh, TJ Power. Oh.
I'm just saying, like, it's not like he's some bum. He's like 6'8" too.
Let's go, Jacob. I'm taking Harvard.
Yeah, back the nerd, or fade the one nerds, back the other nerds.
I swear to God, if I wake up in the morning before my flight and Penn is +4.5, I'm betting them.
So they were +5.5 on the road at Harvard, and they covered that. So I guess
that was with Ethan, whatever his face though.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte, South Florida, some American Athletic Conference. Anyone? I added it because it's on. We don't have to spend a ton of time on it if you guys aren't interested. The line is 14. Any interest at all? Who wants to lead off?
No, these two teams just played like a week ago, and USF absolutely demolished them. That was at home, but Charlotte's going to be playing their 3rd game in 3 days. Man, that game that I just talked about was UCF minus 17.5. Yeah, I have no interest in this game at all. It would be UCF or pass. Am I actually going to lay that number? Absolutely not.
I'm assuming you mean USF or pass. Spoon, Jacob, anything, or should we skip to the next one?
Retweet what Toe said. USF, lay it. I'm not betting it.
All right. Doesn't sound like Spoon it took a... This is a nasty one. Let's move on. All right. St. Joe's VCU. Back to the A10. All right. So what do we think of this one? Spoon, you liked St. Joe's, but you didn't bet it yesterday, right?
No, I liked the other side of that one.
Oh, I thought I remember you saying like St. Joe's. All right. Anyway, so St. Joe's gets a big win? You guys both liked VCU. I remember you talking positive about VCU. So what do you think of this 6? Would you say that's about right?
Well, they didn't cover VCU didn't cover against the Dukes, so it doesn't make me super confident now that they're playing a absolute red-hot St. Joe's team. Again, though, I don't think that you're getting any true value with them with St. Joe's. I mean, they've won 7 or 8 games in a row now. They're covering all these games or almost all of them. So, I mean, I feel like you're kind of asking yourself if you really want to lay or get 6. But I think that VCU's the much better team, and I think that we're actually kind of getting a discount because of how well St. Joe's has played and how VCU hasn't really looked great their last couple games. They won those games, but just not super convincingly like the way that VCU has. It would only be VCU for me. I haven't bet it yet. I was hoping to get under 6, but yeah, VCU for me.
So you're saying before this St. Joe's hot streak, this probably would have been 8.5, 9.
I do. Probably not 8.5, 9. Well, yeah, probably just under 9. Yeah, I do actually. Yeah.
Jacob, you agree with that?
Too easy to look at St. Joe's covering every single game in a row. Like I'm looking at staring at green right now. Oh, we beat the Bonnies. We beat teams like George Mason. We just beat Davidson by 12 points today, and VCU didn't look that good, and they won by 8. And now I can get 6.5 points with St. Joe's. Like, I don't know. Maybe fade the city of Philadelphia again and take VCU. Like,
you don't have to twist my arm there.
I mean, VCU is the way better team. I would probably lay it, but the line feels perfectly right. Like, they lost to VCU by 7 before they went on this hot streak, and that was at VCU. So now you're getting 6.5 on a neutral. It pretty much feels like exactly where it should be.
Yeah, 6.5. It looks like we might have been able to get a 6 if we acted earlier, but can't even get that. It's pretty much 6.5 across the board.
I also lean under. I just
What?
think in a championship game, we're just going to see like both these teams try to play their best fastball. Now all these teams are playing multiple days in a row.
I'll put up VCU, but I'm not betting it. Spoon, any thoughts on this one?
This line was originally 15.5 points the last time these two teams met.
What?
Yeah, so that was in VCU. This game's played in Pittsburgh, I believe. I think at this number it's VCU, but I kind of scratching my head here. I thought this number would probably open like conservatively 7, but probably more like 8 or 9, and there were 6s. So clearly off. I went through injuries trying to scrape together something. I don't see a lot. I mean, if you look at St. Joe's, this team has 6 guys that they run out there on the court. That's going to be an issue versus VCU. Yeah, they hung around that first matchup within 7 points, but I think this is VCU by double digits. I question why the line opens 6 and what I don't see here.
I guess
one of us 4 has to do it because they're going to win by 10 tomorrow, and all 4 of us are going to be bad. Someone's going to do it. Someone's going to bite the bullet.
I'm not biting the
I
bullet.
think they get a 6 again though. Like this team, it looks way too easy to bet. I mean, they're on fire. Like,
Well, Pinnacle
like
opened
it's kind of like the Florida thing, where like Florida's playing way better. The line should be bigger than where it used to be, so the line should be shorter than the 15 or whatever it was. But like, it shouldn't be like 9 points or 7 points shorter than where it was.
Let's move on. Maybe if I get a 6 or something. All right, Toast. You have your moment. Toast told us before the season started that UCLA was a team to be respected. We all laughed at him. The comments made fun of him. I laughed along with the comments. You got your moment. They took out Sparty. So do you want to?
So does it really matter?
Why are we getting 8.5 points?
All I want to say is Donovan Dent last 6 games, 77 assists to only 6 turnovers. You're starting to see why I love this team so much preseason. The Thibodeau injury does hurt a lot.
The center's out, Jacob.
Yeah.
I was like, why are we getting 8.5 points? I didn't watch a single second of the damn game.
Yeah, he's out for the year, it looks like. It wasn't good. Didn't look good.
Yeah. So he only played 11 minutes versus Sparty. Man, it's just, I feel like you're asking a lot. It would still be UCLA for me. I don't know what my fair number would be, honestly, without Thibodeau in the lineup. I couldn't really give you an actual estimate on that, but I still feel like this. I mean, I feel like Donovan Dent's playing on another level right now, and he himself could carry this number to cover this. But man, well, there's still a part of me that thinks that Purdue's actually good, and that they might be the team they might be the Iowa State team that we were all talking about that might have some value going forward, and that nobody really looks at. But it would only be UCLA for me.
So I got some on-offs for Thibodeau here. On the season, offense significantly worse without him. Goes from a 121.7 with him on the court to a 115 without him. Defense actually slightly better without him. I don't know if there's anything to take away here. Pace about the same. Effective field goal percentage about the same. Rebounding percentage slightly down. Turnover percentage slightly up. So the offense isn't as good. The rest, so it looks like a slight step back offensively, but the rest of the numbers actually not too bad.
Yeah, he's one of the best 3-point shooters in the country.
Yeah.
So it sucks, but yeah.
So under.
What was the number that when they played earlier?
You get 147.5, or if you like the under.
Well, yeah. What was the number when they played earlier?
147.5 in UCLA.
Well, it's 146.5 now.
Good job, books.
Was it really 149.5 when I made this? When I made these graphics?
Yeah. That sucks because I would have took it back. I didn't look at it.
No, I don't even know where I saw one. Yes, there was a 149.5 at FanDuel. It's not there anymore.
Bastards.
God damn it.
I suck.
Yeah, that's anyway, so Spoon, any thoughts of how to price UCLA without Thibodeau?
I mean, you just showed us the on-off splits. I think we should price them similarly. Yeah, they're missing an important player. Played a ton of minutes on the court for him. Xavier Booker, former Michigan State Sparty, got some extra minutes today. That was probably a nice person to have off the bench when you're playing Sparty. I don't understand why he can't ride a little bit of that steam. Obviously, I have a little bit of bias here versus Purdue. Painter has some size inside. Maybe they find a way to take advantage of that. But I think this number being 9 points is a little bit too much here. I think this should be right around 2 possessions. So at 3 possessions, it's too much for me. I don't know if I have an edge on this to bet this game. Probably not.
I disagree, man. We didn't really see the full effect. Thibodeau left. Someone read it before. He only played 11 minutes, but Michigan State didn't prepare for playing UCLA without Thibodeau, and now you've got Purdue with that monster 7-footer that is prepping this whole game to play UCLA without this guy. And it's UCLA not on the West Coast, which, look, maybe they put that to bed. I think UCLA rolls, but I don't know. There is a flat 8. I have no idea if there's any value in that number. I don't know how to really slap a fair price on this. Jacob, what do you think?
You can get a 6.5 minus 115 on Purdue if you like that.
Where?
I don't know.
Why am I not seeing that?
You can get it FanDuel unless that moved. I see that on my odds screen, but maybe that moved.
Yeah, FanDuel. Yeah, I see it.
It's not open anymore.
Is it not?
No.
Not minus 115? Oh, all right.
Yeah, it is.
Hold on. Why am I not seeing that?
You can bet Purdue minus 6.5, minus 115 on FanDuel right now if you like that. I mean, Xavier Booker played today for UCLA. He played 14 minutes, had 5 personal fouls, and shot 0 for 2 from the field. UCLA won today against Michigan State. I'm looking at this kind of like a game recap now. They shot 48% from deep, 79% from the free throw line, and 56% from the field. So unless they can repeat that tomorrow against Purdue without their best player, we can obviously see they might struggle a little bit. If some of those shots didn't fall today against Michigan State, Sparty probably wins that game. I'd probably lay with Purdue. Purdue also looks like they're turning it on today. They smoked Nebraska, and I don't know. Maybe we consider UCLA to be a better team than Nebraska. Definitely not without their best player. So
Let's go.
I don't know. That's 6.5 minus 115 on FanDuel.
I just took it is there, and I took it. So for those of you watching, do not take the 8.5. I know the graphic says that. Do not take 8.5. I took 6.
I just took the 6.5 on FanDuel. So.
Yeah, me too. All right, those of you.
Purdue's built for they're built for March.
Built for March.
Built for March.
It just knives in Spoon's ears.
I mean, I think there's
I
just
feel bad if you were on
so much
Michigan
data
State.
that proves that that's a bad statement, but whatever.
So this line just opened. Ole Miss plus 7.5. Arkansas minus 7.5. 158. I don't know who Ole Miss is. Apparently, Ole Miss is awesome.
Yo, whatever. I was gonna say
That's
I bet
CLB we had on Alabama, and that didn't even matter. They lost outright.
So are you buying Ole Miss now? You said you weren't yesterday.
No, I mean, I would buy the fact that they're on a all-time heater right now. So if you want to go with that, Chris Beard's a really good coach. I mean, I found it shocking that he went 2-14. I mean, even not that this roster is anything crazy, but I mean, AJ Storr had his time at Wisconsin and Kansas, and excuse me, Malik Dia had his time at Belmont and stuff like that. So I mean, there's definitely players on this team. I don't know. I'm not going to get in front of Mississippi. You can put them up here. I think this line's pretty efficient. I haven't spent a lot of time on it, but all I can tell you is that they're playing with the horseshoe up their ass, and I'm not trying to get in front of it. So Oklahoma's a good team. I'm not trying to make a case that Arkansas played bad or anything. I think Oklahoma, we've talked about that. I think they're a lot better than people give them credit for. But yeah, I don't know. I got nothing.
I don't have graphics for this game, it looks like. Spoon, any thoughts on this one?
I would have to be on Ole Miss here. I mean, this team, just the level of basketball they're playing right now, it's hard to quantify that into what we saw throughout the regular season, because if we go back 2 weeks, this is not the level of basketball we expected from Ole Miss. So at this point, I just expect them to keep it going. I think it's a fool's errand to try to fade this. You see this happen every year, like NC State there a couple of years ago, where they just went on kind of an unprecedented run, and maybe that's Ole Miss this year. I don't think Arkansas is that great of a team. This is tough. We'll see what the market does with this early number, but my initial lean's to Ole Miss here.
Yeah, I mean, I took a loss to Ole Miss today. I got a great number, too. I thought I made a great bet. I got Alabama minus 9.5, minus 105, closed 11. Wasn't even close. I mean, Ole Miss was straight up the better team, so maybe Chris Beard is magical. Jacob, what do you think? Are you buying into Ole Miss?
I feel like you have I could only be on Ole Miss here. Like, it seems like they're putting it together at the end of the season. These kids are playing with confidence, obviously.
10.5 just popped on FanDuel, guys.
Oh, I'm taking. Wait, 10? Did it?
My odd screen is bugging.
Well, I see 9.5. Where do you see 10.5?
10.5.
You see? I see 9.5.
I'm refreshing the page.
It popped up on my action. That's what I have it over.
All right, let me look.
If I got 10.5, I would 100% bet Ole Miss. Double digits. I mean, Arkansas hasn't covered the last 2 games in this tournament. I feel like, again, I talked about this when I was on the show last time, but I feel like
It's
I've been betting a lot of dogs. Like, they're not. This could be their last game of the year, right? Or if they don't make I guess they're gonna make the tournament.
I don't know.
I mean, shit. If they win this game,
9.5.
probably making the tournament, right? I can only buy into the Cinderella story here, and take Ole Miss to cover.
This team went 4-14 in conference. If they want to make the NCAA tournament, they have to win.
Yeah,
this
that's
tournament.
what these kids are. I'll buy in the Cinderella story.
Are you gonna get? There is a 10. Are you guys gonna take this 10.5?
Where's the 10.5?
10.5.
FanDuel.
I have it open. I'm looking at the actual number on the book.
I'm looking at 9.5 on FanDuel.
Dude, odd screens are bugging tonight.
That's what I'm saying, because it popped 10.5, and then when I opened
9.5.
FanDuel, it was 9.5.
Yeah, so this one says 10.5. This one says 7.5. I open FanDuel, it's actually 9.5. So both the odd screens I've opened are wrong. Would you guys bet Ole Miss at 9.5?
I mean, Bet365 has it at 8. DraftKings has it at 8.5.
So that 9.5 feels high. Are you
I
down?
was gonna say, I think this is gonna close around 8.
Let's do it.
And I think
9.5 seems absurd. It seems absurd.
It's March.
when these two teams played in early January, Arkansas was -3 on the road. So
I mean, yeah, Mississippi. I mean, at home they still managed to. That was when they weren't even playing that great. Lost by 7 points.
All right, Tulsa, Wichita State. You bet this game? Go ahead, Jacob.
I took Wichita plus 1.5 minus 110. I also took the money line. Let me see what I got on it. I took the money line at plus 110. Tulsa played a triple overtime game today, and that's to turn around and play Wichita today. Not to say, I mean, we've looked at some teams today that have played overtime games, but I think playing that much extra basketball is gonna be a challenge to have a quick turnaround to play a rested Wichita State team. Wichita State, when I was looking at this game earlier, they're playing really well right now. They've won 6 straight games. They did lose to Tulsa earlier in the year by 10, but I'm not sure if they played twice. Yeah, Wichita State's playing good. The triple overtime is what's really getting it for me. I mean, a single overtime, yeah, you're playing an extra 5 minutes of basketball, but you got to play an extra 15 minutes of basketball, and you managed to squeak by against North Texas, and they just beat Temple. I don't know. Maybe it's built. Obviously, it's probably baked into the line, but
All right, so
I
you're on
think Wichita State can get it back here.
You think they close as short favorites?
I think the line should be more like a plus 100 money line so I took a plus 110, and then the minus. I think it should be like a minus 120 for the plus 1.5. Maybe they close as like a true pick. Tulsa is a really good team. They're the better team than Wichita State, but they're obviously coming in on a not ideal scenario for this game.
Toast, you agree with that?
Yeah, I guess. I lean Wichita, but just because they have so much of a better defense, and I think that their offensive numbers aren't indicative of what they've shown over the whole year. I mean, the last 5 or 6 games they've been putting up 80+ points a game or more. So those offensive numbers that you see if you're looking on Ken Palm or Bartovic aren't really indicative. So it would only be Wichita State for me. I'll take the better defense and the points, or 1.5 or whatever. You can get unless my odds screen screwed up. DraftKings still has a plus 105 or 100, and then like BetMGM's already at minus 110 right now, so he's probably right where it ends up closer to a pick.
Yeah, it looks like actually Circa has a true pick open right now. So it looks like we're already seeing it. It looks like you might have got a good number.
They might close your short favorites. They did play a second time, and Wichita State already beat them by 4 points, but that was at home. So I mean, now you're on a neutral. I don't know what the line was. We'd have to look what the line was in that game.
Which game?
They played Tulsa on February 14th. They beat them 81-77.
Minus 1.5.
Yeah, so they were favored at home. Now you're on a neutral. It should be like a plus 100 money line, maybe a short favorite because they're coming in obviously rested with the other team coming off triple overtime. So I mean, I thought the plus 110 and the plus 1.5 minus 110 would close well.
It looks like it might. Spoon, any thoughts on this one?
I thought the number was a little off the opposite direction. I mean, Wichita State was 6.5 point favorites at open at home versus this Tulsa team. Tulsa was 6.5 point favorites versus this Wichita team the first time. Then on the road, Wichita was 1.5 favorites. So you have 6.5 opener versus 1.5 opener. I get we just played a triple overtime game, but I mean, I still think Tulsa is the better team throughout the course of the season. I feel like they have the best player on the court tomorrow in Riley. So this will be a very interesting game. I think Tulsa played a terrible first half of basketball there versus North Texas. I can't believe they came back and found a way to win that game. I think they avenged their loss, and they get another one versus the Shockers tomorrow. I haven't played this game. With you guys thinking the line moves the other way, and it's starting to. This might be something I look at tomorrow after the line continues to move, but I'm on the opposite side of you guys.
Well, I'm going to put up Tulsa as well because Jacob got plus 110, plus 1.5. Maybe we can get plus 110 on the other side, Spoon. I'd be down to do that with you. If this moves into a playable range for you, make sure you shoot me a text. I'll do it with you.
Sounds good.
All right. Let's move on to the next one. Houston, Arizona. This line opened up Arizona minus 2.5, which is about where I expected it, in between 2.5 and 3. To juice 2.5 as well. So yeah, that sounds about right. Juice 2.5, 3. What are we thoughts? What are your thoughts on that opener, Toast? That's about where I was expecting it to open. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, there was a 3.5 juiced on DraftKings that was staring me in the face. I don't know if they've taken it down yet or not, but it would only be Houston for me. I think that they played a really close game versus Arizona earlier in the year. I think, let me double check, but I think that they were 3.5 point dogs in that game, if I'm right, or something like that. Sorry, 6 point dogs in that game. In Arizona, I think that getting 3.5 with this Houston team, I know that they played those 3 games, Iowa State, Arizona, Kansas, but this team has been on another level for a while now. I still feel like getting this team with a full possession is just too good to pass up, or sorry, over a full possession if you get the 3.5. But it's not anything against Arizona. They've been absolutely fantastic, but maybe they're just better than Iowa State. I don't know. But besides that, I think that Houston can match up with them offensively as well. I don't know. Jaden Bradley really hasn't been Jaden Bradley. I know that he hit the game-winning shot, but, I mean, he had 15 points last night. But I don't know. I think that Houston's kind of playing better right now. I think the number's pretty efficient, but it would only be Houston for me.
I want to be on the Arizona side. So my question to Spoon, if I want to play Arizona, do you think this minus 2.5, minus 110, or looks like I can get minus 115? Do you think this minus 2.5, minus 115 is the best I'm going to be able to do?
This is a difficult market to look at. I don't think that there's going to be more than a possession available with either team. So I guess, no, I don't agree with that statement. I wouldn't be surprised to see this come down to like a close, depending, like some books might have a flat 2, some books might have a juice 2.5, juice 1.5 kind of situation. But that's where I would expect this more towards. Houston's a very good team. This be a very good basketball game. One I'd rather watch than bet, but whatever team you're getting 3.5 points with is probably the one that I'd rather be on in this game. Arizona has all the rights to make an argument as the best team in this country if they had been healthy the entire season. You can say that about a few teams, but Houston is playing better basketball down the stretch. This defense has gotten better throughout the course of the season. The level of offense Houston has played all season has just been a step up in competition from what we're used to from Houston. So I like this Houston team. I think this is the time of the season to start getting behind them. I know there's been a big ton of deal made about this court. They're back to the regular hardwood tomorrow. I think both coaches like that, but I think that means more to Houston than it does Arizona as well.
Real quick, before Jacob goes, MGM just opened a 3.5 for St. John's, where everywhere else is 2.5. That's not going to be there, right?
No, and I will take it.
Yeah, let's go.
I will take that right now.
I was looking at the 3 on 65, so.
You need Johnny's.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, this is pause the show worthy to bet this.
Yes, thank
Pause
you.
the
I was
show.
already looking at that.
We remember the Johnnies got blown out by 40. They remember that too.
Yeah. St. John's plus 3.5. Let's do it.
Why we're taking the money line too, though, right?
No, I just took the 3.5. But yeah, that game's actually next. But I just want to. I don't know. It's gone already.
I got it.
Yeah, I got it too. So, oh man, hopefully some people in the comments got it. It's down to 2.5 already. Well, anyway, Jacob. Do you agree with Spoon? I want to take Arizona. I kind of agree with what Spoon said, that I don't think there's any reason to take a juice 2.5. I think it's more likely that I get a flat 2 at some point than it moves to 3. What do you think?
I could only be on the team catching the points with Houston. I honestly think Houston, they're starting to look like Houston of last year come conference tournament. I think it is noteworthy that Houston beat Arizona last year in the Big 12 tournament. 72-64. So maybe Arizona has that circled. This game is circled for them. But I mean, I watched the Kansas game today because I was on Kansas's team total under. I mean, they held Kansas to 47 points. Obviously, Arizona is a much better offense than Kansas, but I also think I might honestly just take the under. I think there's a 138.5 on FanDuel. It's a Houston game with two great defenses. I don't know if we get to 100. I mean, 130. They got to 139 points with BYU. So Arizona's defense is better than BYU's. I don't think that Houston's probably going to score 73 points against Arizona. So I lean toward the under in this game too.
You lean under.
And I would take Houston. You can put Houston up for me.
All right, let's move on to the next one. I already bet St. John's plus 3.5. And by the way, never mind.
It's still there.
No, it's gone again. It's jumping back and forth. So it disappeared, then it popped back for 2 seconds, and now it's back to 2.5.
Odds maker watching the show.
MGM's trolling us right now. So it's not there right now, but it did bounce back for a second. So as I'm sure you guys have deducted from what happened in the last couple minutes, I just grabbed a St. John's plus 3.5
too.
So did you guys all agree with the St. John's plus 3.5?
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
I did. Yeah, I was already looking at St. John's plus the 3 personally. I think it's the numbers kind of efficient, to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to sit here and try to make a case that I think that St. John's is so much better and yada yada yada, and it's revenge because they got killed. Because let's not forget, I mean, they had their kind of way. They kind of had their way with UConn as well, winning that game by 10. It wasn't a 30-point blowout, obviously, but I just think that we have a better defensive team with St. John's getting points. And yes, the UConn offense can be hit or miss at times, or I shouldn't say hit or miss, but it's very good. But we've seen them lay some duds here as a team. I think that St. John's is just as good as UConn, and especially in this rivalry, you're getting Rick Pitino with the first time to ever win a back-to-back Big East title with St. John's and yada, yada, yada. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the white suit tomorrow. Yeah, I was already going to bet St. John's at 3. We got the 3.5. Yeah,
I think 3.5 is crazy. I put a unit and a half on it. I still think, and I know this is crazy to think that like, oh, I've got all these books beat, but I still think 2.5 is high. I look, UConn's the better team, maybe a point and a half. To have this at a juice 2.5, I still think that's too high. So obviously, I'm happy on my 3.5, but I still think 2.5 is pushing it.
UConn was 5.5 at home, and that was after they had already previously lost to St. John's. So obviously,
I think
3.5 is a good number.
And the last time they played in Madison Square Garden, I mean, the game opened to pick'em, and UConn took money. It was a short 1.5 for St. John's as dogs the last time they played in Madison Square Garden, which is where this game will be tomorrow. It's going to be a nice split atmosphere between the two teams. I think there's going to be more St. John's fans than UConn fans, but this building will be packed. I think this is a St. John's. Once we're past like a possession, you have to play St. John's. I think in order for me to get to UConn, I probably need them at plus money on the money line. Still, this is a road environment. You can say what you want about the Big East, but this is the best team in the Big East versus the second best team. I think this game should be under possession. It closed. I think Kyle hit the nail on the head. Even that 2.5 is high. It should close between that pick'em and plus 1.5, where the first game did. I think the St. John's team would be a sleeper in the NCAA tournament. This could give them a much better seed if they beat UConn, and it's a big game for UConn as well if they find a way to get this game. They can kind of cement themselves one of those like top 8 seeds for sure.
I agree. Let's move on to the next one. We're all in on the Johnnies. Toledo Akron, and Spoon, you could keep the mic because we know you're going to talk about Toledo. I had UMass. This is one of my losses today, plus 3.5. Toledo was splashing some deep. Damn, that one, there was a 3 that they just put a dagger in UMass right before the half. Did you watch the game, Spoon?
I caught a good glimpse of Leroy Bladden just going off, and I said last night that line should close to 2. That's what it did, and then Leroy went off, and I was just like, this is gross. I don't want to watch this. Toledo's playing great basketball. I kind of feel like this number's a little bit big for the specific spot. This is going to be a home court environment for Akron. Toledo's only a couple hours away, but definitely going to be a ton more Zips fans here. I think Akron's the best team in this conference. I don't think it's that close. It was a 91-81 game the last time these two teams met, and that was in Akron's home gym. I think this is just Toledo for me. I think I would probably need 5 points to be the number to not think that Toledo could get there. I haven't moved on this game yet. Akron is the best team, but I just think there's enough of a backdoor with Toledo. The opposite end of this is Toledo struggles to play defense, and they did it today very well throughout the course of 40 minutes. But can you do that versus the best team in the nation? Or not the best team in the nation, the best team in the conference? And the answer is probably not. But they were able to keep it 10 the last time these two teams met. I think Toledo's playing much better basketball. They've inserted a couple role players that weren't playing earlier in the season that now putting up double-digit points in back-to-back or almost 6 games now. So adding Minor Strong into this lineup, Toledo, I don't think they're properly valued. But I don't know. I don't have an edge in this game where I'm moving yet.
Either you guys have thoughts? Jacob, you have any thoughts on the Toledo game?
No, I was on Akron today laying 6 points, and I could see this game again, the game against Kent State playing out or exactly like that we just saw today with Akron. It literally came down to them shooting back and forth free throws, letting each other score. I think Toledo could easily backdoor a 7.5. Akron is the best team in the conference, and I feel like if Akron wins, it'll be not by 7.5. It'll probably be by like 13, 14 points, or this game's going to be close. So I'm not betting it.
Yeah, guys, the graphics show 7 because that's what's open at Pinnacle. There are 7.5s out there. So if you're taking Toledo, make sure you go grab a 7.5. There were 6.5s before. It looks like those Akron minus 6.5s have been bought up.
I also lean for the under. Like, I feel like these totals, we've seen with these totals, they're coming in like 4 points low. And because of the style of the way Akron plays basketball, this rapid pace, high-powered offense, like these totals were in like I took the under today, and it closed with like 5 points of CLV, and it cashed easily. I feel like they're pricing these totals for the Akron games based on their regular season, but I feel like we're seeing a different style of basketball from them where both teams are playing much more conservative. So I don't hate an under for these games either.
158 now.
So to be clear, the 2 overs and totals that I played all season were Toledo games that were in conference because of Toledo's just inability to play defense. I wouldn't recommend that under as anybody that's watched the way that Toledo tries to play basketball.
Toast, do you have any thoughts on this game, or should we move to Virginia Duke?
No, I'll let the parents look at that one.
Yeah, let's move on to the ACC championship game. Virginia Duke, the rematch. The lead story of the first matchup was Virginia could not get. I'm talking about wide open threes were missing for Virginia. They could not hit the broadside of a barn.
7 for 35.
7 for 35, and honestly, I think they hit a few late to even dress that number up. It was so bad. They couldn't get anything to fall. So I guess the question would be, what does that game look like if Virginia's hitting their outside shots like they normally were? Because I remember thinking around halftime of that game, Virginia on the road at Cameron, Duke was up like 21, 22 points already. And I remember thinking if Virginia's shots were falling like normally, this could be a 4 or 5 point game. Now, obviously in the second half, Duke was the stronger team. Maybe I'm just talking shit. What do we think? It opened Duke minus 8.5 on a neutral. Toast, go ahead. What do you think? 8.5. Too many? Too few?
I think it's way too many. I get that Duke's good. I'm well aware of that. But this number was 10.5 in Cameron. Duke was fully healthy. They're not fully healthy now. And on the other side of Virginia shooting poorly, Duke shot 50% from deep in that game. if they were to do that again, I guess so be it. But I think that all the value here is on UVA personally. I think that after beating NC State and Miami, two of the better teams in this conference, not that Duke had a complete walkover with Clemson and Florida State, but I don't know. Maybe it's the West Coast in me that still thinks that Ryan Odom's a pretty damn good ball coach. And yeah, I feel like this number is a little bit high. It would only be Virginia for me. I haven't bet it yet, but if I were to get a 9 with Virginia, I probably pull the trigger there. I might pull it at 8.5 just to gamble a little bit. I just don't feel like Duke can replicate the game that they had in Cameron Indoor.
Damn, the way I want to go is under, but 137 means that they're way overpricing it even. So all right, Jacob, 8.5, too many, too few.
Too many for me. I'm not in a rush to bet it. I don't really think that we're going to see much line movement either way. I feel like maybe the books are going to be pretty comfortable with this number. I was on Miami today and I watched that UVA game and they were playing absolutely amazing. And we were all on Clemson today against Duke, and there was a chance that Clemson was going to cover that game, backdoor it. And
we got robbed.
They honestly should have, and they couldn't freaking do it. They had a million chances to. There was chances in the game where they were in the game. I think UVA is significantly better than Clemson. I think you could honestly sprinkle the money line here, like 8.5 points. There's a real scenario where I don't know what the money line price is, but
those two guys.
Like it's probably
Duke's still missing 2 starters right now.
That's what I'm saying. This team's still missing 2 starters. I was listening to announcers today during the Duke game, and they were like, "Oh, look how UVA is playing. Those kids know there's 2 starters missing. There's a great chance that UVA could walk in tomorrow and shock the world." Like, I don't think the money line's out of question.
Oh man, you guys are making me want to bet it. Spoon, 8.5, too many, too few.
Efficient. I think Duke wins this game. I think it's probably somewhere between 2 and 4 possessions. Yes, that Virginia game, if their shots had fallen, it would have looked like a different game, but Duke would have also played a different game. I'm not going to buy into Duke's missing players creating too much of an advantage right now. We tried to make that case yesterday. I guess if this number continued to climb and it went past double digits, I'd agree with you, and I'd say that Virginia needs to be moved on at that point. But I think under double digits, this is still a reasonable number for Duke to cover, and I think I understand how they get there. Duke wins this ACC tournament. They get lock up one of the best 1 seeds. This makes a lot of sense. I can see this game getting blown open. This neutral court environment is in Charlotte, North Carolina. You're going to have an outrageous amount of Duke fans in that building. You saw it today. So I think this is a great spot for Duke if it can stay under like 3 possessions. But right there on that number of 3 possessions, I don't really feel like I have an edge that I need to bet.
So someone asked if Caleb Foster's out in the comments. Yeah, Caleb Foster confirmed out for the ACC tournament, and Njangba, I believe is how you say his name, he's out as well. So 2 starters missing for Duke. But all right, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you give these
Wait, we're not doing baseball?
Oh yeah, no, we're doing NBA too. I'm saying we're switching to the baseball segment.
My bad, sorry.
Yeah, Jose. That's Jose. Well, that's supposed to be Jose. It looks like he's trying to join. But yeah, Spoon, Jacob, enjoy your night. Jacob, any NBA to fire off before you leave?
I bet any of the NBA games tomorrow. I took the Hornets plus 6.5.
Okay, fair.
Honestly, they're playing great basketball. Their starting 5 is the best starting 5 in the NBA on court with the numbers. I mean, the numbers say don't. We can argue superstars and stuff, and there's a chance Wemby doesn't play. So there's the upside to that too.
All right, Jacob, enjoy your night.
All right, see you.
All right. Where is Jose? He's trying to join. I can see someone trying to join right now. So Jose is going to be with us. And the reason we need Jose, we're about to talk Venezuela. And he's a Venezuelan. He's not just a fan of the team. Like he's a member. So Puerto Rico, Italy is up first. I'm sure Jose will pop in any second. So I guess the market is buying into. I feel like I can talk about this now. I've watched these games, so I guess the market is buying. The market is on board with Italy because we're pricing Italy as favorites over Puerto Rico, which means, I guess my first question: what would been the price of this game before what we saw in the group stage from Italy? Because I feel like Puerto Rico would have been pretty heavily favored.
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, the respect is crazy. I got Italy at plus 105.
Damn, good.
There's still 102s on FanDuel, I think. I don't know. I think it probably would have been priced Puerto Rico in the 130s-ish, probably. But, okay. So for me, this is how this game sets up for me. You have Seth Lugo on the mound for Puerto Rico. He's been really, really good. I don't have any – there's no me trying to get him or say anything bad about him. He's been really good for Puerto Rico for a while now. But it's more about the Italians that I really think could give Seth Lugo problems here. I know that, first of all, I think that Puerto Rico had a lot of home field advantage in their first round games. Italy didn't have that, and Puerto Rico obviously has a lot of very good names that we know and love. But I also think that we're underestimating these Italians as well. I mean, the Italians have multiple guys on this roster that are major league ready guys. I mean, forget the pitching. Let's just take a look at the guys on the roster. We talked about Kyle Teal not playing, but Vinny Pasquantino, Dominique Canzone, Jack Caglione, Marseille, all these guys are like regular, dependable major league guys. So I just think that there's like an idea out here that Italy is like this team that's like just little guys, that little engines that could, and it's not. There are a lot of these guys are U.S. guys that U.S. didn't call, and that's part of the reason why that made that game against them so important. I just think that they're the better team. I think that Puerto Rico had a huge advantage, and that's why some of their games look better in their pool play. And now they're going to have to travel and face this Puerto Rico team or face this Italian team that's been absolutely fantastic. The Algieri kid that's going to be pitching for them, he's one of the best prospects in Major League Baseball. He's a top 10 prospect. He's a lefty. I have no reason to believe that he's not going to be able to pitch well tomorrow. So I don't know, man. I feel like this number is kind of weird. I feel like everybody's going to be wanting to bet Puerto Rico because of some of the names that they see. But I truly believe in my heart of hearts right now that Italy is the better team. So, and to get them at plus money or minus 105, I still think is the way to go.
So this is kind of crazy. So Pinnacle has Italy as a minus 127 favorite. But,
what?
But you can still get Italy at plus 100. That just seems off. I'll bet it just because I would imagine Pinnacle is sharper than the score bet. So
yes. And you're 2-0 in the baseball classic. Look at you, I think.
So it looks like Jose just left. So maybe when he tries to rejoin. Yeah, people are like, Kyle, let Jose in. Guys, all I could do is send him the link. I'm not there. I can see him trying to join, but his camera's not popping up. So, damn it. I really wanted to hear him talk about Venezuela, dude. All right. Yeah, I can get plus 100. Why is that so far off from Pinnacle?
I would assume that some of these books really don't know what they're doing, and I'm not just like.
Yeah, but why wouldn't they just be blindly following them? Maybe they're just focused on college basketball,
or they're asleep at the wheel. But
yeah,
I really like Italy tomorrow. I think they're the better team, and you're asking Seth Lugo a lot, and that Puerto Rico lineup isn't really the same without Lindor and stuff like that. But yeah.
All right, so I'm in. Italy plus 100. You got a plus 105, you said?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. And then next game up, man, I see Jose trying to join. I really want to hear him talk about Venezuela, man. So we'll start. Hopefully, Jose's able to join before we finish, but is Venezuela faced with an impossible task here to beat the Otanis?
No, Venezuela is live, very live on the money line. You can take
Hold on. They're playing Otani.
He only bats 4 times a game.
Yeah, but you're gonna bet against Otani.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to be betting against Otani. I'll be there for this. Oh, I won't be there for this one, but I think this is Venezuela all the way here. I think, first of all, I don't think that Japan is as good as what they were in the previous World Baseball Classic. So I think that we're going to get decent numbers against them no matter what. They've been very good this tournament, not trying to take anything away from what Japan has been able to do. But so you're going to have pitching for Japan, you're going to have Yamamoto on the mound. So that's a tall task in itself. There's 100%. I will give you all that. But I will say that this Venezuelan lineup is kind of underrated. They haven't really performed well, but with the likes of Acuna and Churio and Markel Garcia and the Contreras brothers, I do think that they're able to give them some threats. And I also don't think that the Japanese pitching staff is as strong once Yamamoto gets out of the game. And I think that's a big reason to worry if you are Japan facing this Venezuela team, because if there's one thing that we know about Ranger Suarez, the guy has a slow heartbeat. And if there's one thing that Japan has is they have a lot of lefty bats with power. 2020 last year, Ranger Suarez, a 317 FIP, .94 whip, and walked less than 3% of left-handed batters. I don't think that the Japanese lineup, let's go, he's here.
He made it.
I don't think the Japanese lineup is necessary. I don't think it's as deep as it once was. And I really think that the guys, I think they're going to have some trouble here because Otani, Yoshida, and Murakami are all lefty bats. And I think that Ranger Suarez can neutralize them. So I don't want to play an under 7.5 with all these bats in this lineup with both of these teams that can go either way. I know that Mr. Venezuela might not agree with me, but I think because it was all their bad history, I think they're very, very live tomorrow. I'll be playing the +1.5. If Jose gives me the attaboy, I'll probably play the money line as well. But I will be playing the +1.5 for sure.
Well, I don't know if Jose's going to give you the attaboy because last time he came on, he gassed Venezuela up for 15 minutes and then passed instead of betting on Venezuela in the game. So, do you agree with Toast that Venezuela is live?
I do. And Toast, I'll tell you this. I'm also on Italy with you. I bet Italy this morning here at -103. A weird line there. That just seems like a line, like you guys said, that it's made to get people to bet Puerto Rico. And I'm also selfishly rooting that for Olympic purposes as well. But for this game, Venezuela, obviously the DR is a juggernaut, and that was a bit of a tall task to ask for the boys there. And Eduardo Rodriguez has not been good for a lot of years now, but at least now it's ace versus ace, Yamamoto versus Ranger. And here's the difference between the last WBC and this WBC is that now everyone has seen Japanese pitching for the last 3 years. When these guys were first coming over, Yamamoto, Sasaki, those guys were all still over there in Asia doing their thing in the darkness. No one knew what to expect. Now everyone has their eyes open and knows they're juggernauts. I think this is a very much of Barry Bonds treatment for Otani. Just don't let him beat you. Pitch around. Murakami, Yoshida turns into Barry Bonds in the WBC. You can live with that. And I am indeed betting on Venezuela here to win the ball game. I got +144 because I bet it early, and the Lions are moving against me again.
We've been there.
But we're a country of choke artists, as you guys know, but damn it, we need this. And let me tell you this, guys. The biggest motivation for Venezuela in this game is not WBC. It is qualifying for the Olympics. Qualifying for the Olympics is gigantic, and there's only one competition for Latin American teams to qualify for the Olympics, and it's this one. The top 2 Latin American teams qualify for the Olympics out of this. So that means Puerto Rico, Canada's in this too, the DR, and Venezuela are all fighting for 2 spots. And Venezuela's coaches have already said openly, like, this is more important than winning the WBC. We need to do this. So they have to win this game to give them a shot to qualify here.
Well, hold on.
So Venezuela wins
just
this game.
So I'm following. So to qualify the Olympics, it's do or die. This game. If they lose, no Olympics.
If they lose, they need all the other, like, they need Canada, and they don't have the tiebreaker for Puerto Rico. So, yes, actually, that is correct. If they lose, they're out. Because Puerto Rico, even if they lose, the tiebreaker is group game record, and they are undefeated. Venezuela loses the
Let's
one.
go. I'll bet it. God damn it.
So this is a gigantic. It is gigantic. And like I said, there's 8 teams. I think there's 8 or 6 teams that even make the Olympics for baseball. So getting in the dance is extremely difficult. Of course, America gets a free pass because it's in LA. That's classic. But this is very important for them.
I know what's gonna happen. I'm being peer pressured into this. Ohtani's gonna hit a 2-run home run in the first fucking inning. I'm in Venezuela, and
if he hits a 2-run home run in the first inning, they're gonna be up like 8-0.
Oh, he bats lead off. That was dumb. That was dumb. All right, Jose. We'll scroll back to Italy. I know you mentioned you were betting Italy, but you want to talk about Italy for a second? Maybe shed some light.
Yeah. I just think this is a fishy line. Like in my head, this was okay. Minus 170, Puerto Rico. Like just being honest here, but I just don't think as Paul Feinbaum said, they ain't play nobody. They ain't play nobody in there. You're not gonna lose on the island. I think now, trust me, there's a lot of Puerto Ricans down there in Miami as a guy that's been there many a times, but I really think that Italy can come out here and smack them in the mouth and win this game. Like I said, I just think this line is designated or built to get people to bet Puerto Rico. And, good for you guys. If this is a fishy line, if this line caught me in a trap, then it's got me. But I'm betting the Italians here. And again, I would really appreciate if Puerto Rico lost in this game so Venezuela has a shot to qualify the Olympics.
Well, actually, since I took Italy plus 100. It's now moved on the score where I bet it. It's up to minus 105 now. So I'm not saying we moved it, but it moved. I just bet that, and it moved. So it's now minus 105. All right.
And all the guys, I don't know if I said this before, but all the guys on Italy who are lefty powers, Vinny Pasquantino, Canzone, Marci Nori, all those guys are obviously lefties. Seth Lugo, 620 FIP versus lefty batters, 146 FIP, or 146 whip, excuse me. Dude just gets absolutely tattooed. We might see a Canzone homer tomorrow.
Would love it. Jose, where can they find you?
At Jose Bouquet. And by the way, I'm glad that we actually got this to work. We made some hurdles. We got through it, and I'm glad we figured it out. So it was nice to see you guys again. At Jose Bouquet. Follow us over there at Pub Sports Radio on the YouTube machine. We're doing a bracket contest for March Madness as well. So join if you guys want. $50 to enter. Top 10% gets paid. I don't know dick shit about college basketball, but I'm still going to win the thing anyway. So good luck to you guys, and I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, just know, both you guys, when Ohtani has 6 RBIs and we're down 8-1, that I'm going to be holding both of you personally responsible for betting Minnesota.
I'll be live. I'll be live streaming the game, and I turn into a madman, so I'll see you there.
All right, have a good night, guys.
Later, guys. Scott.
Let's talk some NBA, and you are driving. And when I mean you are driving, I'm just listening and tailing. So, Scott, how was your night?
Yeah, good. Can't complain. Watched Team USA win, so that was definitely nice too. But overall, pretty uneventful. Thought it was fun. The NBA card was terrible, to be fully honest with you, but I thought it was fine. Not in terms of bets. I just mean with overall NBA content. Not a great collection of games last night.
No, I looked for about 8 minutes, and I was like, dude, we're in conference semifinals. I'm going to chill on the NBA. Real quick, let the viewers settle this. I asked Scott if he was betting Mavericks minus 4.5. He did not give me a straight answer. Correct, viewers? Confirm that.
From what I remember, I told you that I was probably going to end up taking it because you pulled up the injury report, and basically their entire team was listed on the injury report. And I told you since Clay was the only guy listed, I'm going to take Dallas because it's probably going up, and it closed at 5 or 5.5. So, yeah.
Yeah, you did insinuate.
I think you would have been scared anyway because it's the Mavericks and they stink. I think you would have been scared off anyway.
Well, what I ended up doing is taking the Spurs at minus 4.5 before thinking Wemby was going to play because everyone else moved to 6, and then Wemby was ruled out and I lost. Anyway, we got 5 NBA games queued up, starting with Bucks Hawks, and you're on Atlanta here, right?
Yeah, no chance I'm taking the Bucks based on current form at this point in time. Atlanta has been rolling. They've won 8 in a row. I'm going to take the 7.5 here. They just beat Milwaukee by 18 points on the road about 10 days ago, so I do like the actual matchup quite a bit. Giannis came back. Doesn't matter. The Bucks have lost 7 of their last 8 games. 6 of those 7 losses were by 15-plus points. This team stinks. Nothing else to really add there. Doc Rivers, I hope he's enjoying his farewell tour because he's not going to get another coaching job after this. But I do think Atlanta right now, the whole division's been great. I know we're going to talk about the Orlando game in a second. Orlando, Miami, and Atlanta. Technically, Charlotte all competing for first place in the division. So it's been a very, very competitive last couple weeks especially. Atlanta's been great, simply put. So I'll go with Atlanta once again. I'll keep fading Milwaukee. Give me Atlanta minus 7.5.
Let me just write this on the screen because my graphs were messed up. So Hawks minus 7.5. It's going to be a blue font. This is for the people that fast forward. Hawks minus 7.5 there. Yeah, I probably would agree with you, but I'm not going to be betting that one. There are a couple games that I think are interesting that I'm interested to hear what you have to say. This is not one of them. You didn't select this game. Oh, no, you took a player prop.
I did have a player prop.
You have a player prop. Okay, so go ahead. Hornets, Spurs.
I was going to say, based on what happened last time out, we talked about the Spurs, and I said if Wemby plays, I like San Antonio. If not, then I'll take Denver. But you don't know the answer. Because San Antonio is probably going to wait till the last minute to actually announce if Wemby's going to play or not. So I really can't bet this overnight because I have no idea if Wemby's going to play or not. Instead, I pivoted to a player prop because I think this could cash either way. I like Champagny over 14.5 points and rebounds at minus 122. He's been great. He's had at least 15 PR in 8 of his last 10. Been good against Charlotte as well. He's had at least 17 PR in 2 straight against Charlotte. His rebounds tend to go up when Wemby doesn't play. Once again, I think this could cash whether Wemby plays or not. But it's very, very tricky to bet the spread overnight without knowing for certain if Wemby, who is probably at this point, top 4 in the league in terms of quality of player, top 4 in the league, top 5 minimum in the league. It's important to know if he's going to play or not. So I really can't gamble on the spread overnight. Give me Champagny over 14.5 PNR.
Yeah, Sports Science and Jacob, you should have let me know. You could have hung out and did some NBA with us. I asked you if you had NBA picks. You said one, Hornets. That's all you said. You could have hung out.
Hornets is fine overnight if you think Wemby's not going to play because there might be some CLV on that. But I have no idea because Wemby I thought might play. He has soreness, but he also is trying to qualify for awards. So he really can't afford to miss many games at this point in the season. So he might play and might not. I'm not willing to find out and wait till the last minute. At least I might wait till the last minute to spread bet it. But overnight, no. I'll go for a player prop instead.
So, the reason a couple people asked me about that game, Charlotte, San Antonio, because you look at the number and at first glance, it's like that's kind of big to lay to the Hornets. But the strength of schedule discrepancy there, the Spurs have been through the gauntlet playing really good teams, and the Hornets have not. So there's a big strength of schedule discrepancy, which is kind of scaring me off that one. But all right, Wizards, Celtics. The Celtics are laying, that's not a typo, 20. It's a 20 at Pinnacle. So what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, first of all, I'm just going to say straight up, I understand why the spread is so big. Having said that, I'm not laying 20. So instead of that, I'm going to go for a team total over for Boston instead. It's a massive number, but I understand it. A Boston team total over is at 123.5 at minus 125. Washington has been horrific defensively. What else is new? Shout out to Trae Young, who's not helping them out on defense. But either way, the Wizards have allowed at least 136 points in 3 straight games. And the Celtics have played the Wizards 2 times already. They buried them in both games, but they did score at least 136 in both of those games. I think Boston probably covers this, but they might mess around a little bit. But offensively, I don't see Washington having any answers over the course of this matchup. We know that they're not actually trying to win. Shout out to Bam, who had 83 against them the other day. But I do think the Wizards, once again, they hand out 125 plus to everybody at this point. Boston off a tough loss against OKC. I know they covered the spread. Shout out OKC 1-10. That got there at plus 170. But the point is, the Celtics, I think they'll bounce back. I think they'll be pissed off. And I see them scoring a bunch of points. So give me Boston team total over 123.5.
Yeah, I mean, the Wizards can't even spell stop and haven't been able to spell stop in quite some time. So tough to argue against Boston getting whatever number they want to put up. Great game here. Nice little Florida rivalry. I think 3.5 might be pushing it. I kind of lean towards the Magic a little bit. I actually forgot what you even wrote down, so I don't even know what you're about to say. I kind of want to take Orlando.
These are two of the hottest teams in the league. So I feel like if you're looking at Miami being in great form, people have kind of been overlooking Orlando recently. I get why. They were hyped up preseason. They were terrible for the first couple months of the season. Bunch of injuries, but quietly, they've been really good. They beat Cleveland over the last couple days as well. It's going to sound a little bit risky, but I'm going with Orlando in this game, plus 3.5. I think it's very, very trappy. The fact that Miami's been this good recently and they're only laying 3.5, I think, is pretty sketchy. And the splits suggest the same thing. Of course, the public's all over Miami because they're definitely the talk of the town right now after the Bam game. But you're looking at Orlando this season, and even with all the struggles, they have owned Miami. They're 4-0 this season straight up against Miami, and they're getting 3.5. You're also looking at the injury report. Hero's still questionable. Powell was upgraded to questionable as well. We'll see if they play or not, but the point is a lot of people are going to be jumping in on Miami. I get they're in great form, but Orlando's been basically equal to them based on current form lately. I think Orlando's quite live. If you're 4-0 straight up and you're getting plus money, I'm going to take you. I think there's some value there. I think this game's going to be close either way, but I think Orlando plus 3.5 has some value.
Yeah, and something you have to question with the Heat, and I do realize you can kind of say the same thing for Orlando, so I'm aware of that. Yeah, the Heat have won 7 in a row. They look great, not trying to take credit away. I mean, they played Brooklyn twice. They played the Rockets with no Jabari Smith, or well, actually, the Rockets aren't very good.
You know, I don't take the Rockets seriously.
Me neither.
They almost lost to New Orleans last night. I just don't take that team seriously.
And no, the Rockets weren't on a back-to-back there. I'm just. And remember, when they beat the Pistons, Detroit was on a back-to-back. It was the second leg for them. So the Wizards, the Bucks. So yeah, the Heat look great. Do have to consider the schedule. It's been a fortunate little stretch. You can kind of say the same thing for Orlando. But yeah. All right. They beat Charlotte, by the way, the Heat. That's a good one. All right. Next up, great game. I'm not sure where I would go with this. A couple of people in my group chat like the Lakers. I just lost taking the Lakers against the Nuggets. In fact, I'm pretty sure you took the Nuggets in the same game. I think
we completely disagreed, and I was right. But
you
that's
won.
what happened. But
I thought the Lakers looked okay in that game, but I'm not really jumping at the opportunity to bet them here. Do you have any thoughts?
Oh, I actually won twice when we talked about the last time they met up because I like the under in the game, and I also like Denver, and I'm going to the under again in this game at 244. I understand LeBron's back. I get that the Lakers' defense is a bunch of traffic cones half the time. Same with Denver. I mean, Aaron Gordon coming back definitely helps them out defensively, but either way, this number feels way too high to me. You're looking at the head-to-head, which I know can be somewhat misleading, but just hear me out here. 12 of the last 13 head-to-head meetings had a less than 239. So goes back a long way. A lot of these games tend to go under. Big reason, lack of pace. The Lakers over the past 10 games do rank 10th in pace. Luke has been a machine. I know that he's been incredible, but he plays in the half court. He likes to ISO. He likes to dance on the perimeter. I can see that killing the pace of this game. Past 10 games, both teams have actually been fine defensively. Past 10 games, Lakers rank 11th in defensive rating. Nuggets rank 18th. Not amazing, not terrible. But once again, I had the under in this matchup about a week and a half ago or so. Game went under. I think it'll be high scoring, but 244 is still a massive number. I think it ends up somewhere in the 230s, and I think the pace might end up, once again, killing the over in this game. I'll go with the under. It worked last time. Run it back.
I'm going to tell you on this under, and I think I might take Orlando with you as well. I think it's more of like a fun game to watch, and I'm definitely taking the under. I'm taking the under right now, 244.5. I might
That's
take
such a high number.
Yeah,
it's such a crazy number.
Yeah, and the Nuggets have been running a bit faster recently, and both teams have strong offenses, but 244.5. That's like Heat Hawks. That's like the fastest paced game ever, and with Jokic on the floor and Luka on the floor, I don't see that type of game. So yeah, under 244.5. I am in. Just bet it. Scott, where can they find you?
Yep, find me on Twitter at Rice Show Radio. Find me on SGPN. All my picks are free. There is no dub club. There's no sign up page. No paywall. It's all free. So find my podcast for free on Twitter at Rice Show Radio. I retweet all my podcasts. I'm on there. But yeah, once again, free picks. You know where to find me.
All right. Thanks, Scott. Thanks for watching, everybody. Everyone enjoy your night. Yeah, great day of basketball.